What's going on, guys? Indy here with Ultimate 2 Reviews. Well, today I'm going to be covering a little bit about Ryobi. And of course, I like to always cover new tools as they come out from different brands. But I will say, without a doubt, the most unique tools always come out of Ryobi. And I like to joke around about Ryobi, it's like they chug a bunch of energy drinks, and then they like, oh, what kind of tools do you guys want to make? Let's make some chainsaw, lawnmower, impact wrench combination. All right, let's do it. And they just kind of go, they're always throwing out some crazy tools. But that's not actually a bad thing. They do actually make some really cool tools that you may not have even thought of before that you didn't think you needed it until you saw it. And you're like, well, it actually would solve one of my problems quite nicely. So they do have some really cool stuff when you really dig into it. Not all of these tools here are available yet. They've at least just been announced from Ryobi. Very important to note is they're not all available in Home Depot, as in the store, but they are available online. If you weren't aware, the brands Ryobi and Rigid are both only available at Home Depot. They also are available at Direct Tools, which is their outlet by Ryobi and Rigid. Basically, they sell off, open box stuff, return stuff there, minor blemish, cosmetic things. I've gotten some fantastic deals from Direct Tools over the years, and it's overall been a fantastic buying experience so far. But anyways, let's move on to some of the new Ryobi stuff here. We have an 18 volt. This is the One Plus line. This is a 10-inch snow shovel kit, which is pretty cool. This is something you'd probably never see from Makita, DeWalt, or Milwaukee. If you need to clear off, just like a small section, maybe just like a small walkway of snow, this is pretty cool. Of course, there's no pricing on here just yet. But I mean, if you got like, 10, 15 feet of a walkway to clear and that is all you've got, I mean, right there you go. That's pretty awesome. So, Ryobi's always making tools that are, not necessarily going to be a high volume tool, but they're going to be somewhat useful and probably still sell here and there, which is kind of cool. Check this out. We have a Swift Clean spot cleaner. I was looking at this thing and I'm like, is this actually like one of those little like wet vacuums that kind of cleans, fabric? And yeah, it is. That's pretty cool. You can see it's not too big. I didn't even know Ryobi was even making. I didn't even know anybody made something like this that was cordless, which is pretty cool. I thought they were all, kind of the corded models, the larger, models for doing this kind of type of cleaning. But Ryobi says, nope, we're gonna make this thing portable, and that is pretty cool from Ryobi. No idea they even made that. Of course, the hybrid forced air propane heaters, everyone's kind of making those. If you weren't aware, everyone's been kind of talking about this right now, is their 18 volt, they have a 30 degree and 21 degree framing nailers now. I trying to remember if the pricing was released. I know they are a little pricey for what they are. Everyone's kind of hoping they're to come on sale here pretty quick. They're of course not available just yet. However, though, I believe they are based off of the current rigid framing nailers. They look very, very similar to those nailers. And very cool to set from Ryobi. Kind of one of their gaps they had in their line was always a framing nailer. So, I would say they're definitely probably good for, light to mid use, and they'll be pretty cool from there. All right, this is one of those classic what is Ryobi thinking tools. Not saying it's a bad tool or a bad idea here, but this is legitimately a one-handed cultivator tool. This thing looks like something out of like a medieval weapon or something like that. I saw this thing, I'm like, Ryobi can't be serious on this, right? But you know what? When you look at what they're doing with it, it actually kind of does make sense. If you got to cultivate, say you got like a planter that's kind of, the dirt's really compacting after sitting around for a while. I mean, this isn't actually that bad of a tool when you think about it. It's actually not a bad idea. I mean, they're going to sell a lot of them? Probably not. I don't have a use for this tool myself personally. Even if you just send me one for free, I would have no reason to use this thing either. I really don't have a use for it. But I definitely see where it would be useful for and why someone would buy it. So, I mean, 180 bucks, that's a little pricey for what it is, but I'm sure that'll be, on sale at times here and there. But it's just one of those tools where you look at it, you're like, wow, that's super interesting. I don't think I'd ever see anything like that from any other brand. Of course, we have, the Ryobi 120 watt soldering iron here. Ryobi has kind of been on this push recently for more of desktop tools. We see a couple more rotary tools coming out. We got a soldering iron. They have some hand tools right now at Home Depot. They're kind of pushing for the holiday sales. It's pretty cool because it's not something you're necessarily going to use, professionally, I would say, like on a job site. I mean, it's possible you could use one of these on a job site, but something you can have in your garage, in your workshop, working on, smaller items. Definitely kind of a cool tool that Ryobi's making. Now, when you're not going to have power, that's kind of the question. I don't know anywhere I'd use a soldering iron where I don't have power exactly. But I don't mind using the Ryobi batteries. They're cheap enough. I wouldn't really care about using that over, plugging in a soldering iron. It's not that big of a deal. But, a little expensive for 50 bucks for a soldering iron. I wish I was a little bit cheaper there. Here we go. We have the track saw. That's been, talked about for quite a bit. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the Ryobi track saw came up before the Milwaukee track saw. So I know a couple of the Milwaukee guys were all up in a ruse there after that came out, but not too big of a deal there. I've heard really good stuff about this track saw. 300 bucks is a little pricey for what I'd pay for a Ryobi track saw, but really cool to just even see one out from Ryobi, which is kind of cool. Track saws are super handy to have, and just overall a fantastic tool to buy. Um, I can't even count how many pole saws Ryobi makes. It's one of those tools where they have so many of them over the years. I feel like they come up with a new one like every year. I've used the 40-volt Ryobi pole saws, and they did the job. It was really cheap. You might not believe me, but I picked one up on clearance. They had just a sticker on it at Home Depot one time for 30 bucks. It was the tool only. So, of course, I had to go find a battery and charger. I bought one off eBay, and it worked great. I never used it, too hard. I probably did, if I had to say, I'd probably 2 or 3 thousand hours of tree work on my property that I did myself over the course of about a week, and it performed great. I didn't really have any issue with it. Everything was totally fine. But it's one of those tools, where you need a pole saw, but are you going to be using a pole saw, once a week? Probably not. But I mean, are you going to use it a couple times a year? Probably. So, buying a cheaper, a more affordable pole saw is actually a great thing to do. Of course we have a pruning shear kit here. I don't. Is that the right price there? I'm not sure. 209. That seems really expensive. Let's see if I can go to Home Depot. Yeah, 209. That seems really expensive for just a little pruning kit. I thought these were cheaper from DeWalt. I might be wrong there, but that's cool that they have that as just a little pruning tool for $209. All right, moving on to page two here. We have, of course, string trimmers, edger kits here. Ryobi is doing a fantastic job at covering basically every outdoor power tool you possibly can think of. And whether or not you think it's going to be, you want a cheaper one, you want a mid-range one, you want a higher end one, Ryobi's kind of hitting all of those at the same time. They've got, the cheap stuff over here, like this thing is only 140 bucks, a string trimmer slash edger kind of thing. But then you've also got the One Plus stuff, which is going to take your mid-range, and then you've got the 40-volt stuff, which is going to be a little bit higher end, not, Milwaukee level, but it's going to be pretty close. It's actually going to do a really, really good job. Now, it's kind of strange they're pushing the Ryobi stuff so hard when they don't really have that many Milwaukee options. In my opinion, I do think they are kind of eating into some of the Milwaukee tools there. A lot of Milwaukee guys that I know have a good amount of Ryobi outdoor power tools because they kind of just cover all of the bases there when it comes to Ryobi, and the Milwaukee outdoor power tool section is very lacking. So, of course, we have some of the compact sprayers. Man, Ryobi is just hitting that sprayer market pretty crazy. They had one of those electrostatic sprayers that was really, really big during the pandemic. And for some reason, they made like a million of them. And of course, they didn't sell them all. And Direct Tools had this thing where you could literally spend any amount of money on their website and they would send you one for free. I'm guessing they just had to get rid of extra stock. I also got one. I kind of threw up my attic, like if I ever need it in the future. I've used it to like spray like pest control around my house. It doesn't really work that great about doing that. It's really only useful for like spraying, anything disinfecting sprays at like restaurants and things like that, and spraying things that are non-porous surfaces. Any other use, I haven't really found any good use for it. I've searched online through some forums, through Facebook, have not found anyone that's found any other good uses for it that would make sense. So it's just one of those tools that, Ryobi was kind of gambling in that direction and it didn't really go out as planned. So that's kind of fun there. Of course, we find some awesome deals here. They have some of the impact wrenches right now at Home Depot. Now, this is going to be a kit that is, just for the holidays. We're probably going to see it after the holidays a little bit. I would say so. We're going to see it here and there. Are we going to see a ton of it? Probably not, but it's one of those tools where you definitely want to pick up right now. That's an awesome deal. Battery charger, you get the impact, $100, great deal there. All right, scrolling down a little bit here. Of course, Ryobi makes a ton of different sanders. Never really used any of the sanders myself personally. They're very similar price to a lot of, DeWalt Makita options. I picked up a number of DeWalt sanders off eBay for even cheaper than these prices here. But check this out, like that, little snow blower thing. They also make a outdoor patio cleaner. What is this? This is actually like a little brush here. That's actually pretty cool. I'm guessing you would probably take this thing and you'd probably do like a pre-treatment, and then you'd use this thing to kind of take off any remaining debris or residue on the surface. I'm not sure why you would use this instead of a pressure washer exactly. That's kind of my one question. I don't know when this would be useful over that. But who else was making this? Absolutely no one, which is kind of cool to see, right? We actually making this. Maybe if it's like a really small surface, you don't want to pull your pressure washer all the way out to that. You could just run your pre-treatment and then just clean this off really quick with this tool. Kind of cool though. That's actually pretty unique. Speaking of unique tools, we also have a outdoor patio cleaner. This is kind of the same name, but this is actually a wire brush on the side. Oh, it's for cleaning like little grout lines. That's actually pretty cool. I see what that's for now. Um, that's actually a really interesting tool for especially time saving. Of course, you could use an angle grinder. That would work, but you're gonna be down on your hands and knees using that. There's actually a lot more comfortable option here. So that's kind of cool. Looks like you're using it to, also remove any grass or weeds growing up in the cracks as well too. That's kind of cool. Again, this is classic Ryobi here. Super unique tool. Are they gonna sell a lot of them? Probably not. But is this something a tool you might need that you spend $200 in this? Could it save you a couple hours of time with ease? Yeah, it definitely could. That is really cool to see there. And so this is page 3 here of the new tools. There's not really like, crazy tools on this page, anything that you haven't really seen before. But just take into account how many tools Ryobi has on this page. I mean, how many drills does Ryobi make? I mean, it's gotta be above 40 or 50 drills by now, maybe even more. They make so many different drills. And like circ saws here, they probably make at least 20 or more, by now. There's probably a ton of them that they make. Hedge trimmers, I see so many Ryobi hedge trimmers out there as well too. And that's really cool because it gives us as the consumers an option to buy what we want to buy. We don't have to buy, they only make one, that's it. So I like having the options. Are always a big thing for me because my yard is probably nowhere near the same as your yard. So you want to buy the tool that fits what you want it to do. All right, so on page 4 here, if you haven't seen this, they do make a bug zapper. And I thought this was out already. I thought Tool Review Zone got his hands on this, if I recall. But this is really cool. I definitely want to pick one of these up. I heard the pricing is around $100 for the tool only. Let's see, is this tool only available? Is the kit? Yes, okay, $100. Here it is. So yeah, tool only is now available. The actual kit with the battery and charger is still on its way. Now, of course, there's going to be cheaper options on Amazon, if you don't want to use the Ryobi stuff, but I don't mind using the Ryobi batteries, it's kind of nice to have an all-inclusive battery system for, the kind of random stuff like this. And it's funny, you could actually have a pretty decent, Ryobi tool collection, but not actually have any actual, tools, like a drill or a saw. You could have all these really unique tools with Ryobi. That's kind of what I've got, too. I've got, the Ryobi Edger. I've got one of the EverCharge vacuums. And I like some of the really unique tools from Ryobi. It's really cool. They also have, the caulk and adhesive gun. Now from, DeWalt, and I think Makita has one. I don't know if Milwaukee has one just yet. But they're expensive. That's the thing with these. And, Ryobi has one. I think they have the tool only listed somewhere. I saw the tool only. I think it's on the next page here. Let's see here. It's actually pretty cheap, tool only. Yeah, here it is on page 6 here, 80 bucks. That's pretty awesome. If you're using, caulk or adhesive, you don't want to be, straining your hand all the time using one of those caulk guns. And let's say you only use it like maybe a couple times a month, at best. This would probably last you a couple of years with ease. I don't see why this would give you really any issues. And that's going to be a significant savings over, a lot of the Makita and the Milwaukee versions of that. So that's a pretty cool deal there. Check this out. We have the rotary toolkit here. Now I picked this up actually tool only. Came with all this stuff with it. No battery. I didn't get it with a battery. Let's see what the tool only cost is here. I got mine on Direct Tools for I think it was $10. Came factory blemished. It was on one of the sales, of course. There was a couple of discounts also added on there as well too. And my wife's used it a number of times now, and she thinks it's fantastic. But even at 50 bucks, it's actually a pretty decent tool. You don't need to worry about plugging this thing in. You just slide a battery into the bottom of it there, and look at that, battery fits in there really nicely. It's almost like part of it now, and very cool tool there. Um, for you can just pull this thing out and go. You don't need to worry about plugging it in, and it's one of those cool tools where it's just kind of more of a convenience thing than anything else. All right, let's see what else we've got here. I feel like every page you can find a couple of really cool things. They got LED spotlights. Some brands, have really expensive LED spotlights. So really cool to see some of the cheaper stuff from Ryobi. I'm sure it all works pretty decent. We do have a brushless 6-inch auger kit here. And this is 18 volt. That's interesting. I know I've covered it recently. Rigid is coming out with a auger kit, but it looks like it's gonna be dual battery. I don't know anybody else that has an auger kit off the top of my head, but I think Makita is doing a 40 volt one. So I can kind of see what they're doing there a little bit, but I don't know how much power that would have exactly running just off an 18-volt battery. And right here, right, we've got a 3-inch variable speed detail polisher slash sander. I know Makita has one of these, and this is probably one of those tools where if you do some nice detail work on a vehicle, this is a great tool to have. Even like a motorcycle as well too. Fantastic deal. $100. That's actually a great deal for that. It's cool how much Ryobi covers, so many different categories of tools. It's always really cool to just see, they're covering just everywhere. If you didn't even know, Ryobi actually covers a ton of cleaning tools. I'm gonna check this out too. 18 volt. This is the belt sander. I don't think anybody actually makes a belt sander like that is cordless, that doesn't have to have an attachment put on there. So that is really cool from Ryobi. It's just one of those tools where I don't think anyone really uses a belt sander like this too frequently, but it is really cool to see that Ryobi's, yeah, we got one. And it's one of those things where you're probably not gonna buy into Ryobi for just this tool alone, but probably be a great tool for a battery adapter. Whether you're coming from Milwaukee, Makita, or DeWalt, you can just throw a battery adapter on this, use this for the couple of times you need to, and you're all set. For 80 bucks, that's actually a great deal on that tool. Just another awesome tool from Ryobi that you don't really think you're going to need it, but when you need it and it's going to save you a ton of time, that's the direction to go there, of course. And here we go with some of the cleaning products. This is actually pretty unique, if you are, a professional house cleaner, that's what my wife does for work. They actually make a power scrubber, and if you notice here, the battery actually goes in a little compartment to keep it waterproof, which is really cool. These tools aren't terribly priced, 120 bucks here for this telescoping, power scrubber here, which is really cool. But it's got such a unique features to this thing. The head can tilt around. It's got a really cool cleaning, brush head here. This will save you a ton of time and, effort cleaning different surfaces. Really cool to see this kind of stuff. And as far as I'm aware, absolutely no one else makes any type of cleaning tools like this, which is really neat to see from Ryobi. And that's one thing that just gives Ryobi such a unique brand flair to themselves, is how cool tools they can make that, they may not sell well, but the fact that, Ryobi makes it, you might need it if it's going to save you a ton of time, definitely worth picking it up and kind of going from there. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend here. We're going to be moving into Cyber Monday tomorrow. If you're watching this on Sunday here and I'm posting this video, I'm going to be doing hopefully a video tomorrow morning on all the Cyber Monday deals. Not sure what to expect from Cyber Monday just yet. So we're going to see here what's going on with Cyber Monday here pretty quick. Hoping by later this evening, I'm going to get all the emails from a lot of the brands on what's going on, what all the deals are going to be. I feel like this year right now we're seeing a lot of stuff moving to online to find all the better deals. The deals in store are kind of just okay, but the online deals are the real good deals to pick up right now. So guys, don't forget to like and subscribe and take care, guys. Have a great day. Be safe out there.